Well, good evening, YouTube channel. This is Belmont, and starting ahead with Chapter 1. Now, it kind of goes without saying, if you know anything about warded locks, then you really don't need a book. And while this book has, some decent information into it, this really isn't nothing you couldn't learn on YouTube videos, really. The pictures, I will admit, don't look bad. But these keys don't look anything like any current warded keys that anyone is actually using lately. The skeleton keys they're showing here are quite laughable. Also considering that in the lock sport community, when you buy any warded padlock keys, they look a little bit different because I don't care if it's Sparrows, Salford, or even the cheap Chinese shit I have. There are no keys that look specifically like this sold by the cheap Chinese company, Sparrows, or Salford. And they definitely do not look completely squared off. The double, yes. The single, yes. The L, yes. But these other two right here, I don't recognize them. Maybe it's just me. Now, I don't know too many people who actually impression warded locks, considering how cheap they actually are. In the next video, we'll be discussing this one. Now, this is a whip. This is a bullwhip. Whips are very powerful tools and weapons. These are not children's toys. Even if someone were to put one in a child's hand who is not even reached the age of 10. I received my first whip at 10. Yeah, I was still a kid and I had not learned about it properly, but even if you have proper adult supervision around, if you have two people playing around with cattleman's whips, bull whips, or whatever in a backyard that you're renting, it's still better to reach a higher age, maturity, that you can learn how to listen, how to crack a whip, rather than just up, down. Raise your arm up, and then bring it down hard. Trying to tell a child about the words kinetic energy when that word is going to be foreign to them is... that's just... I get that a parent might want to teach their kid new and big words, but don't teach them words about a whip or words like to promote the kinetic energy that makes the whip pop. Not every kid is going to understand that. I know if I had kids, I wouldn't be using words like that until they get to be a little bit more advanced in their education. We can show our kids movies like Indiana Jones, where he's using a whip. He flings it around. He cracks it. He grabs onto things. The learned person who has handled whips, messed around with them, and used them professionally, and biggest name that comes to mind is Anthony DeLongis, who is both a professional swordsman and a whip cracker, and who has done videos on the subject. He is still what be considered the gold standard of whip handling. But if you make a toy whip for your kid and it's enough to actually crack and break the sound barrier, think about this. It's the popper on a whip that breaks a sound barrier. That crack sound. But the tip of that whip can also break and cut skin and make someone bleed. And whips are weapons. They are also tools. They are not considered deadly weapons by law enforcement because, well, cops don't go swinging whips around like they're Indiana Jones. But a whip can cut just like a knife, and a whip can reach out further than a boomerang. And when you launch a whip forward in a cracking motion, yes, that whip can come back to you. If you do not know how to handle it properly, if you just fling it up and down and around like you obviously don't know what you're doing, that whip can bite you. So let's learn from parents who might do that as a lesson for what not to do at their home. I am proud to own whips. I'm proud that I know how to use them. And I'm no expert, but I know how to handle one pretty well. I no longer own a boomerang, but I still know how to use them as well. And I'm pretty good with my knives as well, or daggers. But hey, that's just me. That's Belmont for you. So as we're coming to a close, Hope you've enjoyed.